What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hawk Talk on Melrose. No bullshit. We're gonna get right to the chase here. We got a lot to talk about today. Tyler, what's going on, man? Got to walk out of Kinnick the other day. Winners against Wisconsin, first time since 2008 in Kinnick with fans. So that felt good. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Yeah, dude, awesome game. Um, it was cold, but it was
It was
it was
very
worth
cold.
it. It was worth it. For me, like I kind of mentioned on the last podcast, it was my last home game of the year, so it was obviously great for a multitude of reasons. Your tailgate always fun, and obviously Iowa got the win, so that's the most important thing. We saw a really good game by the defense once again. Can't literally just can't say enough about him. I mean, at this point, it's actually kind of just like shocking, like what's happening with the defense. And the offense survived, I guess, right? So, we got away with the win. We got to a bowl game. We're bowl eligible.
Let's
So,
go.
man, we've really turned it around the last couple of weeks and provided a lot of optimism. And the fact that we have, I would say, a pretty good chance if we win these next few games. We're obviously in the Big Ten championship. So
Yeah,
crazy
and
how that
it
half
is
or season
for
really
sure.
turned.
Isn't it amazing that like I still have one more game left, but even that's like I can't believe the season's already almost over
I
with.
know. Well, we always
Like,
say that. Like
where'd the
we're
time
just
go?
like we're always so excited for the season to start. And then before you know it, it's like, oh well, football is basically done. So
Yeah, I
it's
know it's
crazy.
just crazy. So we're recording this a day early. We're just gonna talk Iowa Wisconsin reaction for a little bit, get into the Iowa Minnesota game, talk a little possible scenarios of going to the Big Ten championship game now that is very much alive, and then we'll just end the episode off talking a little Iowa basketball as they play. I guess if you guys are listening to this on Wednesday, they play tonight, Wednesday night, like in Seton Hall. So we'll just briefly talk about that at the end. So let's get right to it. Talk, yeah, Iowa, Wisconsin briefly. I guess my first reaction. I don't want to. God, I hate doing this. I don't want to sound negative, but I guess I do want to point this out. I was thinking about this the other night. If you really think about it, you watch that game, how bad the offense looked, but obviously we won, so it was like a great distraction, right? And winning is a great distraction. And don't get me wrong, I will take any win. I don't care how bad you look, like a win's a win. I understand that, but I'm just fearful that if we continue on this path of winning games and obviously maybe finishing the year off going to the Big Ten championship game, which I want. I'm not saying I don't want that, but if we do, and we finish 8-4 and we make it to Indy, and even if we lose, but make it to a good bowl game and we win that bowl game, are we going to see any changes in the offseason? Because this offense is still really bad. And I'm going to pull up the stats here, and you can see for yourself. I mean, the offense, we put up 146 total yards, but once again, we won the game, so no one's talking about the offense. It's just like you go back to the Illinois game, go to the Iowa State game. If we would have won those games, you don't really talk about the offense. If we imagine if we would have lost this game, that would be the headlines on every news article detailing Iowa. But since we won, it's not even really a topic. But this might have been maybe our worst performance on offense, which is not really
Hmm.
saying a whole lot since we've had a lot this year. But you're looking at only 11 first downs, 6 for 19 on third down efficiency, 146 total yards. So I guess I just want to bring this up because I don't want people to forget that just because we're winning now, the offense is still pretty damn bad, and there still needs to be changes in the offseason because I don't know if I can go another full season of this terrible product.
Well, this is the issue we had last year, Colin. So we talked
And
about
that's
this
why I'm
when
fearful.
this yeah, we talked about this when it first started here this season when we were losing games and the offense was really bad. We're like, this was last year's problem, except now we're not winning. So it is a problem.
Yeah.
We always talk about winning cures all, and I do believe in that. However, like you said, if we want to try to actually make significant changes and a difference with this offense, does winning right now offset that, like you just mentioned? And that's a great question that I unfortunately I don't know the answer to, because we thought it was going to change this year from last year and it didn't,
Yeah.
because we won. And so now if we win again, does it not change again? That's the $1 million question.
And
And what everyone's going to be wondering probably going into the season next year. I would think that even with the amount of shit these players, the coaching staff, the program has gotten this year from, media people, Twitter, just everyone kind of going off on them. I would hope that something changes still, even if we do, continue to win this year and make it to a Big Ten championship. I would think that it would change, but man, the ego is you don't know with Kirk. I don't know.
You don't. I mean, we saw small changes this offseason or this last offseason, and that's what I'm afraid that's only going to happen if we do continue winning. Which once again, I want that to happen.
Yes.
I don't want to.
We're not wishing to not win. We just and again, Wisconsin has a really good defense, but yeah, 146 yards, man. That's
not good.
That's not acceptable, really, against anyone. I mean, literally your defense won you the entire game.
If you would have told me before this game, like last Wednesday when we were doing this podcast, you're like, yeah, Colin, I can look into the future, and we were only going to have 146 total yards. Say we don't win that game,
we lose by double digits. I think.
And really, the only reason why we won this game, well, yes, because of the defense, but more specifically, Cooper DeJean, who had the pick six, which was 7 points. He had that punt return that got us like the 20-yard line. That's another
85 yards. 85 return yards, I think, total. I think I saw.
So that's 14
great field position. Right.
And we had the block punt, which got us at like the 20-yard line. There's 7. Yep. So that's 21 points from our defensive special teams. So outside of that, we really only scored 3 points just from our offense alone. And so the final score could have been similar to like the Iowa State game, 10-3, 10-6, right? Maybe get another drive in there where we get a field goal. But I don't think we score a touchdown if we actually have to go 60, 70, 80 yards. I just don't. I don't think we were going to do that. So we would have easily lost this game if it wasn't for the defense, Cooper DeJean, and the special teams for getting that block punt and for Cooper to return that one to the 20-yard line.
Well, and again, we start off the game just so predictable and so bad. And like me and you looked at each other like, oh Jesus, like this is
here we go again.
Here we go. Like this is gonna be a long freaking day. And I swear we're the only team that gets -5 yard runs in college football, like multiple a game. And the first drive opened up and we did terrible trying to run the football. Route concepts and passing is just non-existent. And yeah, luckily we have Cooper DeJean, because that guy, I mean, we can't speak enough about him. We try to hype him up on this podcast, but man, he did it all really for single-handedly obviously won the game. I mean, he scored a touchdown and he put us in great field position for the 3 points that we kicked the field goal. And I mean,
well, no, that was a touchdown that we ended.
Well, it was a touchdown. You're right.
So it's just it is. It's unbelievable,
Johnson,
like how our defense has won us. I mean, just this entire year, pretty much every game that we have won. I would say,
but that was last year too.
Yeah,
literally, like
outside of maybe the Purdue game last week, that was the first time where our offense actually did. I mean, our defense played really good last week too, but our offense actually played really well. Because you even go back to like the Rutgers game, and we had 2 defensive touchdowns. So that's.
I mean, at this point, I joke, but I'm actually kind of being serious. Like Phil Parker should be paid as the offense and defensive coordinator at this point.
No kidding.
Like literally, I don't know how he's not the highest paid coordinator in the country, if he isn't already. I don't know.
He definitely needs to be. I don't know what his salary is.
I doubt it.
But
yeah,
he definitely.
Oh my God,
needs to be.
That dude could walk into the office and be like, "I want $20 million," and I don't think you could argue with it.
Yeah. So looking at Wisconsin, then I mean, like we had a good game plan. You stopped the run, Braylon Allen, 17 carries, 50 yards. Yep. If you stop him, I mean, they're not going to be able to do much because Graham Mertz is not that. I mean, he's like Petrus. He's not that good of a quarterback. Now, I would if I had to pick between the two, you're like, hey, you could pick either one to be a quarterback, I would pick Graham Mertz just because he's a little bit better at getting outside the pocket, stuff like that. But he's still not a very good quarterback. 16 for 35. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He had a fumble, just not very good. So you take away Braylon Allen, their offense, similar to ours, very one-dimensional, and they don't really air it out. I know they had that one, kind of long ball that was, I don't know if that was more Riley or if that was Quinn Schulte. They got that, but outside of that, they could not do anything all day.
No, the difference was the turnover battle, right? Like both quarterbacks sucked, both run games were non-existent. It came down to the turnover battle, and obviously, I mean, when it's what 3-1, I mean,
Yeah.
it's you're gonna win, more often than not that way, especially when you score a defensive touchdown. So that's what it came down to. I mean, every stat out there is gonna say that we lost on the offensive side, and but the turnover battle was the difference.
Yep. I just want to end by just saying that it feels good to beat Wisconsin, like I said, because it doesn't happen very often. Was it two
Yeah.
times in the last decade? Well, before obviously Saturday, two times in the last decade. And the first time since 2008 with fans in Kinnick. I know we won in 2020. There was obviously no fans there, so felt good
Yeah.
to walk outside of Kinnick with the win because Wisconsin just has our number. They know how to beat us, and once again, their defense stopped us. I mean, we consistently, and I've been saying this for years, we got to change it up when we play Wisconsin. We try to play our brand of football, and it just doesn't work. They out Wisconsin us every single time. And once again, they did it again on Saturday. The only difference was our defense just played lights out. So, one other thing too, can we make the case for not having Gavin Williams at kickoff return? What are we doing? Put Cooper DeJean, put a playmaker. We saw what he did in the punt return. Why is he not? And then also, okay, I think this was the first time that DeJean has fielded punts because I'm pretty sure it was Arlen Bruce when he got hurt. I'm sorry, but Cooper DeJean should have been fielding punts all year. The way he was looking on Saturday, it's like, why is this happening? Why do we sometimes it takes so long to put a guy in like Caleb Johnson? Took until that halfway till the end of the season to put him as a starting running back. Drew Stevens at kicker.
Drew
It took
Stevens.
him it's like, what are we doing? What are we
It's like
doing here?
we're like trying to like overthink it and be like smarter than I don't know. I don't know. You play the players that are productive. You play your best players, but also the players that are producing. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, but if you're not looking at freaking the stats, I mean, come on. This is you play your best players and like the players that are actually, like I said, producing. So yeah, it made no sense. There's been many cases throughout the season where you could say one guy should have started over the other for the longest time. Offensive line, I feel like it takes 10 years to figure that out too.
Oh
Like
yeah. No kidding.
I don't know. I agree with you. That's a good point
It
actually.
should not be Gavin. He's not a
No, me and you were just like we were so annoyed.
well. The fact that he was
And
fair catching, it's like
he was
okay,
fair
not even
catching.
giving us a
He's
chance.
right. Yeah, I don't know if he was told to do that or not. But it's like, okay, if you're out there fair catching because you're told to, then let's get somebody else out there that'll
Put
want to return
Caleb
it. Yeah,
and put Cooper DeJean back there.
and it's not like
Preferably
you're overusing them, really. I don't think.
no.
I mean, obviously kickoff, punt return, maybe a little bit dangerous, and more maybe put yourself a little bit more at harm in the return game, but you're trying to win a football game here.
Exactly.
Like, come
It
on,
made zero
come
sense
on.
to me. Speaking of Arlen Bruce, sounds like he will be back this week. He was practicing both
Okay,
today and Monday, so that's good. All right,
yeah,
so
we'll need
we're
that.
gonna now flip to Minnesota this weekend. A big time matchup. I think a couple weeks ago, the way we were looking, it wasn't as maybe big as what it is now because obviously we kind of control our own destiny in a way, and we'll talk about that coming up here soon. Just bring this up. Obviously, we have won the last 7 games against Minnesota. So you can see here, since 2007, we have really dominated this series. And seems like looking at this, when we play in Iowa City the last couple of years, it's actually pretty close. But when we play up in Minneapolis, well, besides maybe 2016, we last couple of times we have actually put up a lot of points 35-7 in 2020, 48-31 in 2018. But yeah, we have definitely dominated this series last 7 years. And let's hope we continue that case. Now it's supposed to be really cold. I think it's supposed to be like a high of like 20 degrees. So I know cold doesn't really affect anything, but I feel like it kind of does. I just think it's gonna be
Yeah.
another low scoring
Oh yeah.
game.
This is this is Iowa, Wisconsin like 2.0.
Yep.
Right. Like and you know, it could well, I shouldn't say we're even going to score 24 because I don't know if our defense and special teams are going to do what they're going to do. But this has got 14-10,
Yeah.
17-14 written all over it, right? Like this is going to be a grinded out game. Stop the run, Ibrahim, um, and force Tanner Morgan to make mistakes. I think that's
Yeah.
obviously sort of the game plan, right? Like
I will say I was before the season. I was obviously kind of nervous about this team. I don't know. Were you high on Minnesota? I forgot if you were or not when we were doing kind of our
Colby
preseason.
was.
Was Colby?
Colby was very high on Minnesota. He actually had them winning the Big Ten.
Okay. So,
I
and
wasn't as
it,
high.
yeah. And as the season started, I mean, they looked really good. Granted, they weren't
Yeah.
playing very well. And if you look at their schedule, when they play really good teams, they have really not done very well. But when they play kind of bad teams, they have kind of shitted on them. So, like, I don't know really where to like assess
Yeah.
this team. Like, I mean, they're good, but they're not like they're beating teams that are bad and they're losing to teams that are good. So are they kind of in between? And that's kind of where I think they are. I think, yeah, if you stop Ibrahim and just force Tanner Morgan to make plays, yeah, I think you have a good shot. I should look while we're talking here, where they're at like stat wise, like on defense and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's gonna be, I don't know, it's a similar game to the Wisconsin, like you said. I just hope we can get the run game going or something because you can't win. I mean, you can rely on defense, special teams, and I know we've been doing a lot this year,
You're not
but
gonna win.
you're not every game it's gonna go that way. So you're gonna have to
No, there's
hope.
gonna be a South Dakota State type of game. There's gonna be an Iowa State game where
Yeah.
your defense does great, but you lose. Not
Yep.
South Dakota State, but you know what I mean. Like should have won by a lot more and didn't. So
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna look up scoring. I'm actually gonna look at total defense first and just see where they're at. So they're actually 8th in the country. I did not realize that. So it's gonna be tough for us to
I
put
will
anything
say,
together.
if you look at the Big Ten as a whole, we have a lot of top 10 defenses because our offenses in the Big Ten are not great.
Not very good. That is true. Hey, good point.
But
Good point.
they are eighth they're still eighth. They're still top
Yeah,
10.
and they're
So,
4th in scoring defense. So not a
yeah.
bad defense. Not a bad defense at all.
No. No. So, I was gonna struggle. Like I mean, what we've struggled all year. We've had a couple of games where we found success on offense. That was against Northwestern and Purdue, which I believe do not have good defenses. When we play a good defense, our bad offense can't do anything. So we are going to have to rely on the special teams. Drew Stevens is going to have to be on. We're going to have to maybe find a spark play like in the return game again. A turnover. Like it's going to have to happen, I think. And my prediction is going to be Iowa until I'm going to knock on wood here. You can hear me, hopefully. I'm going to say Iowa 20, Minnesota 13. I think Iowa gets it done on the road because we have to get it done on the road. And I think Spencer makes one good play in the game, not no pressure of the home crowd. He makes one throw to get, maybe a touchdown. So
I think I had 2013 for the Iowa Wisconsin game, and I was pretty damn close, 24-10. I just, god dang, it's just like it's hard for me to
it's
say.
tough.
Can this offense put up 20 points if you're telling me right now that the defense isn't going to, because once again, you don't want to, that's not going to happen every game. You would think one of these years Minnesota's going to get us. And I really thought this, I think going into the year, I think I had this as a loss. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was one of those things where I kind of said, until they beat us, I'm going to keep it as a win. I don't know. I can't remember how I had it.
That was my motto. So
yeah. But you just know at some point it's going to happen. Is it going to be
if there's
this
a year
year?
to do it, it's probably this year. I would
but
think.
I'm kind of the same boat as you. I'm riding this momentum. We've won 3 in a row. It seems like the team is together. They know what's in front of them.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota is kind of in the same boat, but their task of going to the Big Ten championships is way harder than ours. For us, it's just win out and hope Illinois loses versus Michigan, which they probably will. So momentum, it just seems like I just feel good about it going in this game. So I'm the same boat as you. I'm just not going to go as many points. I'm going to go like 16 to 10. Iowa win 16-10. I think it's going to be tough. I think Minnesota is going to struggle to find the end zone. You go back to, like, for example, the Nebraska-Minnesota game. Nebraska's defense is terrible, and it took Minnesota until the fourth quarter to get to 20 points. Granted, Tanner Morgan did not play that game, or he played half the game, and then I think the backup came in the second half, and actually the backup looked better than Tanner Morgan did. And that's where they kind of started putting up points, is when the backup came in. But They won that game like 20-13 or something like that. So I don't think with the way our defense is playing, I don't see Minnesota being able to just all of a sudden just go off. I think if we contain Ibrahim, I think good things will happen. And I think last week was a good test because I think Braylon Allen and Ibrahim are kind of the same type of running back. I'd probably say Ibrahim's probably a little bit better than Braylon, but in it all, we faced some really tough running backs this year. So I think our defense is going to be well prepared for that. So yeah, 16-10. I think I'm going to go. So and Austin, I heard might be going to the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he doesn't know yet because once again, it's going to be so cold. I mean, last
Austin?
week, yeah, Austin.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Shorey got some tickets and asked Austin if he wanted to go. But fuck, the game last week was a high of what, 34, and I was freezing my nuts off. I can't imagine 20 degrees. That's a high. So
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
Minnesota cold is like a
yeah,
different cold. I
and the
feel like
game,
I don't
and
know.
the game is at 3, which it's only 30 minutes later, but it's going to get dark way earlier. And yeah, I told Austin, like, what I would do is I wouldn't even tailgate. I would just go to the bars because I know there's some bars close by because I've been to that stadium. I would just do that and then just walk. That way you're not freaking cold
Right.
all day. You're only cold for the game. So, but
Yep.
yeah, he doesn't know yet if he'll go or not. But I mean, it would be a fun if I said to Austin, like, God, if they still at the Metrodome or if they played in a dome stadium, that would always be a fun game to go to. But it's always played in November and it's always freezing cold. It's just not worth the drive. But it would be a fun game to go to though. So, but
and we just experienced a freezing cold game. So it's yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't do well with the cold very well, but we were layered up pretty good. So
yeah. Well, and for me, I said it on last podcast, I'd rather have it kind of like in that temperature range than like 80 or 90 and humid and hot.
you got the you got the TAC 56 loadout pulled up here.
Wait, what?
You've got this COD.
Oh, on my end, it's showing.
No, I've got COD.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Here.
Well, Colin's playing COD tonight, guys. So
yep, I am.
He's figuring out his loadout.
That's weird that it showed that. I was like, what the hell? Let me see here. Let me load up this. All right. Is that better? That was actually from last night.
A little bit better, yeah.
Yeah. That was from last night. That was my other tab that was open.
I literally just looked at it. I was like, what is going on?
See, on my screen, it was showing this screen. That's what was so weird about it. I don't know. But yeah, so Iowa wins on Friday or on Saturday and wins next week on Black Friday against Nebraska. And Illinois loses to Michigan, which should happen.
By all accounts, should happen. Yes.
Yeah. We will be going to the Big Ten championship game for the second straight year, believe it or not. It's just crazy to even think about that. Now, I will say this: Illinois somehow, some way beats Michigan on the road. They deserve to make the Big Ten championship game.
Yes,
that's a tough task. Now, the only reason why I'm giving them a slight silver of hope is just because Michigan plays Ohio State next week. Kind of a look ahead game. That's the only thing. That's the only. But anything can happen in college football. But no, Michigan should win this game. I think the points are like 14 or something like that. So they should win. And then all we have to do is take care of business against Minnesota. And if we take care of business against Minnesota, even though Nebraska's played us tough the last few years, I feel really good about that Nebraska game. I mean, they're kind of, their ship is sailing. I mean, they're not making a bowl game this year. Right. They don't look too hot. Now, I think Casey Thompson's back this week, but I think our defense will do just fine against them. I'm not really worried about that game per se. Now, once we get closer, I probably will be. But I just say, take care of business this weekend. And we are walking into Kinnick on that Friday, where we win, we go to Big Ten championship.
We win, we're in.
And I'm sorry if that is the task at hand. Like I said, I'm feeling really confident. I feel like this squad, this defense, I feel really confident that will happen. So, got to just get past Minnesota this weekend. Now, if we lose one game, I don't think we're making it.
No.
Because Illinois then, or I think it'd actually be Purdue then that would be ahead of us. Because I think their last two games, I want to say, are Northwestern and at Indiana. So they're going to win out. So they would have they would have only 3 conference losses. We would have 4 if we lost 1 or 2, and Illinois if they lost. So yeah, Purdue would actually be the team to make it. So their big time game was last week against Illinois. They took care of business, and now their hope is that we lose at least one more game, and obviously Illinois to lose one more game, and then they have to win out, which they will. I mean, Northwestern at Indiana, they'll easily win out. So,
it's I mean, it listen, it's just like you said, it's as simple as winning out. So you got to take care of business this weekend. It's not going to be easy. I think it's going to be tough. Obviously, tough. Minneapolis is always a tough place to play. So, and yeah, cold weather, going to be a grinded out game. You know, got to find a way.
Before, when I said Minnesota was still kind of in the hunt, but they're kind of dead in the waters too, it's because they would have to hope. Well, they still have to play Iowa and at Wisconsin, which is very tough. Plus, they would have to hope Purdue loses a game because they lost to Purdue. They have to hope Illinois loses a game. So, like, their chances are very slim.
Very slim,
very slim to none. So it's really going to come down to, I really think, Purdue or Iowa, because I just do not see Illinois winning on Saturday. Now, they play Northwestern at the end of the year, so they'll win that game, but I just don't see them winning this weekend. Plus, I just think Illinois, and Brad made this good point. I was talking to him today. How truly good is Illinois? I mean, we played like complete ass.
Oh,
we almost won
worst game of we played one of our worst games all year, and we literally lost by 3.
Yeah,
because we couldn't do anything on offense, which is usual. But we have I mean, I think seriously, and this is not me being biased, we have an average offense. I think we are undefeated this year. I'm literally.
We have at least we have 1 loss. Wow.
Okay, true. But that game wasn't that. I mean, we don't turn it over 5 times, man. I don't know. I think we obviously lose that game, but
it's pretty damn close. We're 9-1 right now. If we had a decent offense, because I really think we beat Michigan at home.
I do too. I really do. We're not down freaking a shit ton going into the 4th quarter. So.
And that's what's just so annoying about all this. I think I sent it. I don't think
we always make this so much more difficult. It's like, God.
I sent it to Austin and Colby, because we're leading the nation in like yards per play, on defense. It's like
on defense,
it's like 3.8, and the only time that's been below that was 2011 Alabama. So that just shows you, and they were at like 3.6. Shows you how good this defense actually is, and it's just like, we wasted this great defense, even though we had the capabilities this last offseason to fix things, and we decided not to.
Yeah.
And that's what's just so, like, it just makes, like, when you really think about it, it really gets you kind of annoyed, because it's like, we could have fixed some things.
Yep. And it will get more annoying, and it will hit home more if we lose to Minnesota and don't make it to a Big Ten championship game.
Yep.
So, time will tell, but you're exactly right, Colin. And this is why I hope that they look at this for next year and go, we can't keep getting away with this. Come on, guys.
Yeah. And I saw on Twitter, I mean, there's been people that like don't even want to make it to the Big Ten championship game. I want to make it. I mean, we're going to get smoked, but it's like, you play the game.
Well, you play to win the game. You play to win.
I will take making it Indy. I don't care if we're going to get smoked against Ohio State. You want to win the West. I mean, that's the goal every year. And, the small chance of maybe, you're not going to get any chance if you're not there. So you might as well want to go. So it's like, why would you not want to go?
Would you actually physically go to the game?
No. Not this year, just because we're going to New York a couple days later. And even if we weren't going to New York, I think we still wouldn't probably go, just because of the offense, and just that, like, last year we at least maybe have a shot at beating Michigan, right? Like, you felt a little bit better. We were 10-2. This year it just almost kind of feels like,
it's inevitable.
Yeah. And I don't know. So no, we probably wouldn't go. Even though it is always a fun time. There'll be some other day. But yeah, so I guess, and if we go 8-4, we're going to make it to a pretty decent bowl game. We'll make it to a nice Florida or South bowl game. No more. I mean, I hate even thinking about going to like the fucking, what is it? Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit. Like, no. Or the Mayo Bowl in North
Uh,
Carolina. I mean, that one wouldn't be like
uh,
that, but it's just like no. I want
nah.
a like the out. Well, I
I
know
know. I
it's
want to
not called
represent
the
a good bowl.
yeah. I do want to go some year, which it kind of sucks because it's like a 7-5 type of bowl game. But I would love to go to the Music City Bowl at some point, just because it's in Nashville, and I think we
Mm-hmm.
would probably go to that. With Colby being down there, but it only sucks because it's like, well, if we go there, that means that we went like 7-5, which isn't a very successful season in a way. So I
Yeah.
don't know. So if there's
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this year, if we lose to Minnesota, beat Nebraska, finish 7-5, there's a really good chance we do make it to the Music City Bowl, which I guess this is the year. But college football scoreboard for this weekend, I don't really think there's many good games on. Again, I'm pretty sure I was looking at. Yep,
Come on, Michigan.
this is the week where like Alabama plays like these shit teams like
Yeah,
SEC.
the SEC. Yeah.
Yep. So Illinois, Michigan play at 11 a.m. I guess that won't be. I mean, who knows?
Come
I mean,
on.
I'll definitely be tuning in because I want Michigan to
Yeah,
win.
we'll be interested.
What other games are on? Georgia, Kentucky. That's not a good game. Maybe if Kentucky was good, maybe that would be a good game because it's on the road.
Terrible games. Holy shit.
Ohio State will kill Maryland. You got Texas, Kansas. That's not very good. Wow.
My God.
USC, UCLA. That might not be bad.
That's the Fox game.
Yeah. And then Utah.
That's actually that's big noon kickoff at night, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
What? Really?
Yeah, Joel and Gus are doing that game. Yeah.
Damn. And then we're actually at 3:00 that day on Fox. So we'll be leading into that game. I'm just gonna go to the Big Ten.
I love that time.
Wisconsin, Nebraska. I do too. 3:00, perfect time.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not many good games on this week. I think go to Iowa State. They play Texas Tech. Iowa State needs to win out now to make it to a bowl game.
Yeah, and I don't think they will.
I can't believe they lost to Oklahoma. I really thought they were going to beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
But yeah, I could see them being Texas Tech, but they have to play at TCU, which in some years I would say maybe give Iowa State a chance to upset, but I don't know.
The way they're playing right now is just
their defense is really good. Their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. It's their offense, similar to Iowa's, that is just. But their offense is still better than ours. It really comes down to like special teams. I mean, their special teams isn't very good. Our special teams is pretty good, and that won us a couple games, and it has not won. I mean, think about it. Iowa State would have at least one more win, the Kansas game, if they make field goals. They don't have that muff punt, right? Like, just crazy. So, I guess I guess we'll talk a little Iowa basketball, and then we'll end the show out pretty fast. 5:30. God damn, we're zooming through these last couple of weeks. We go from over an hour to less than 45 minutes. Look at that. Iowa, North Carolina A&T from last week. I watched that game just because I got Big Ten Plus. Obviously, you don't, so it makes it hard for you to want to watch those games. But shot 47% from the three, so shot a lot better than we did, I think, the first game. But yeah, we took care of business. There's really not much to say. I'm excited to finally tomorrow night, or if you guys are listening to this tonight, Seton Hall. I'm excited to finally play a decent team. These cupcake teams, I mean, they just get boring. I mean, it's like by halftime, you're up by 20. It's like,
well, you just don't know anything about your team playing these guys. I mean,
no, you don't.
You're expected to win. You're trying to cover a 24-point spread. At least I was.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to judge.
So all our starters are averaging double digits right now. But once again, it's only 2 games, and we've played 2 cupcake opponents. So I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm honestly really excited for the Seton Hall game, because win or lose, I'm excited to kind of see where we're at. So you look at, I just pulled this up because I don't really know much about Seton Hall. So I just pulled this up on CBS. They had them ranked 6 going into the season. I kind of forgot. I do remember St. Peter's coach from last year. I do remember him going there, but I did forget about it until I read this. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, he is there. Got some transfers. So there's some newcomers. So they're not a bad team. On Ken Palm, they're 35 actually in the country, which is really good. They're 52 in adjusted offense and 23rd in adjusted defense. So like I said, this is going to be a tough task on the road. I had Iowa going into the season when I did my season predictions. Went game by game. I actually had Iowa losing this game. I just thought, it's a first road game. It's only the third game in. We're gonna have some bumps and bruises as well, kind of adjusting to without having Keegan and Bohannon from last year. So I had this as a loss. I'm really hoping we don't lose because it'd be a big time win. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. I hope.
What's it on tomorrow?
It's on FS1, 6:30.
Perfect.
So
yeah,
it's gonna be.
You're exactly right. It'll be the first game. Actually, I'll be able to get to watch this year, which I'm obviously pumped about. I didn't get to really watch the last game. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch them. They're playing a really good team. Seton Hall always has a decent defense. I feel like they kind of preach that. So
well, they always have a
they're
decent
just a
team.
tough Big East team.
Yeah, I was gonna
they
say,
always
they've
make it to the
always
tourney.
been-
It seems
yeah.
like they always give teams trouble. So it'll be interesting to see how we fare. I mean, I would think, is our offense going to travel? That's a big question. And then obviously, gotta control the boards kind of per usual.
Yeah. I'm just looking at where they play at. I kind of forgot. They play in that big of a arena? I would never have thought of that.
Seton Hall, baby.
I'm confused because I wonder if they play in like a big arena when they play like a big time game, and then this arena when they play like, I don't know. I'm confused.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully they play in this arena tomorrow night. I'll take that. No, but yeah, it always seems like you brought it like Seton Hall, like they're always like a decent, like they're never like great, but they're never like, but yeah, they're always kind of middle of the road.
Yep.
So I don't know. Do you see us winning, or do you kind of like, I could see us,
I think it's a coin flip. I think this will tell us a lot about who we are right now, though.
Yeah. Well, tell us a lot.
I don't know. What's the spread?
It hasn't been released. I don't think that stuff comes out until like the day of.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because the last time I checked,
I don't know.
It wasn't on there.
If I had to go gut feeling right now, I think Iowa squeaks by and gets a dub on the road.
You think? I hope so, man. Like I really do.
I hope
it'd be a big time road game.
It would be, and then you got to win your non-conference. I mean, that's a resume builder right there. Seton Hall is a good team, so if you beat them, that's very impressive win on the schedule.
Especially with how tough our non-conference is. Okay, actually, the line did come out. We're +1, so we're pretty even. If you go on ESPN, like the projector thing, it's like 50% to like 49%. So like I
think it's going to come down to the wire.
Pretty even across the board. So if we somehow like came out and we looked really good, then I'm gonna feel really good. Like if we came out and I'm just afraid that like our offense looks so good there's first two games against cupcake opponents. I'm just afraid that we're gonna come out kind of looking flat. And it's expected. I mean, you're not gonna be able to shoot the ball freaking like we did. It's especially against a better competition, but that's the only thing I'm kind of afraid about. So, and I'm also excited to see our defense because our defense should be better this year. And this is your first task against a decent team that is ranked, what was it, 52nd in adjusted offense, which is pretty good. Now, looking at KenPom this early in the season is kind of tough to look at because it's kind of skewed in a way, but it gives you at least somewhat of an idea of the team. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm kind of the same with you. I think we squeak by. I hope so. So
Iowa's 5th in adjusted offense.
Yeah. 5th and then 70th. So got to get that defensive number a little bit higher. I want to see that. Like to see that. Realistically, I would like to see it, in the 50s. Obviously I would love to be in like the top 30, but it's not going to happen with Iowa. So if we get in the 50s, that'd be great. So big week of Iowa athletics. So Seton Hall and then Iowa football this weekend. A lot to be excited for. That's for sure. So, well, man, I guess that will do it. We'll be back again probably next week at some point. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
Go Hawks.
We're probably gonna have to do it maybe earlier in the week because I'll be heading back.
Yeah.
I'll be heading back on Tuesday nights. We might have to do this
Thanksgiving
on Monday.
break. Yeah, we'll might have an early episode, maybe even a Sunday episode potentially,
and just get it. Yeah, maybe just do everything on Sunday. Talk about the Minnesota game, talk the Nebraska game, and call it good. That's probably what we'll do. Either that or we'll have to do it Monday. So, All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, what?
Perfect.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Okay. Well, thank you guys all for listening. Thank you for supporting this podcast, and go Hawks.